In this video, I'd like to look back at the way Adrian suggested you might tackle question 2, which is worth 8 marks, and he suggested you might take approximately 8 minutes over this question. It is one of the more challenging questions, so you may be tempted to spend longer on it than you should, so keep an eye on the clock when you tackle this question. It's a question that asks you to undertake a summary, but Adrian explained it's a summary about what's going on in the text. What kind of information are we given in the text? So it's to do with the content, the information that we're given in each of the texts. You don't have to summarize all of the information in each text, because you'll be given a point of comparison to consider. But it is around content, and it's not about language devices, stylistic techniques, and the effect on the reader. You won't get any marks if your commentary focuses on language devices. It's about content rather than technique. It's a summary then, but Adrian spent a little bit of time with you exploring what we mean by inference, and he looked at a couple of images with you. This one of a boarded up gift shop, and from that image we can infer that the gift shop was likely to be in a rundown part of the town, perhaps the outskirts of a city where there may have been a relatively high level of vandalism, crime, unemployment perhaps. So those are the associations, the inferences we can begin to make when we see an image, but we can make the same or similar kinds of inferences when we're reading. This was the other image that Adrian explored with you, showing a group of people standing in the darkness on the street, and some of the inferences there might be ideas that perhaps those young people are wanting to hide, perhaps there's some underage drinking or some drug dealing going on. So there's different kinds of inferences that we can draw from images, and in the same way we can draw inferences from information that we're given in a text. So with this particular quote here, "This is my 6th time at Glastonbury," we can infer that the speaker probably had a really good time at that rock festival. So thinking about not just about explicit information, but inferences we can draw from information provided in a text. That's a key point to consider when you're writing your summary. So let's have a quick look at the format. We're asked to consider summarizing information in both of the sources. We'll be given a point of comparison. In the paper you looked at with Adrian, the point of comparison was on the effects of war on people and how those effects are different. So you must make sure your summary focuses on that point of comparison. And so writing a summary, and you'll get 8 marks for this question. So let's have a look at the way Adrian suggested you might tackle the question. And it was by doing a little bit of planning, using a little table like this, where within the table you make a note quite quickly of a pair of quotes that link to the point of comparison, and then if you've got time, begin to explore what that quote means, what you can infer from it. You won't have a lot of time for this question, so you may just have time to note down some quotes and begin to explore what those quotes mean in terms of the point of comparison you've been given, and then you need to write up your summary in a couple of paragraphs. We'll see in this example we've got reference to the source, the point about the fact that anti-war protesters are being brought together. So there's the point, there's the evidence, and then in this sentence here the student has begun to explore what that quote means. Halfway through we have a connective on the other hand, which shows a point of difference there really, and it indicates we're about to contrast information provided in source A with source B. where again we have a point made, the wall separates people, we have some evidence there in terms of the quote, and then the student begins to explore what that quote means. So that's an example of a point evidence explore approach to crafting your sentences and using connectives to link your ideas. So that's a quick look back at question 2, worth 8 marks, and you should spend no more than 8 minutes on that question.